You won't believe it, but the face of France's culture, Paris, is partially owned by the royal family of a Middle Eastern country. Yes, most of the Paris buildings you imagine are not really owned by the French. Walk down the Champs-Élysées, the most famous avenue in France, and you are not just passing luxury boutiques and cafes. You are walking through a portfolio. Over the past decade, entities linked to the Thani dynasty through the Qatar Investment Authority have quietly become some of the largest foreign owners of commercial property on the avenue. In certain stretches, Qatari-controlled assets represent an estimated 20% or more of prime commercial space, second only to the French state in concentration. Let's break this down with receipts. In 2010, Qatar Investment Authority purchased the landmark building at 103 to 111 Avenue des Champs-Élysées from HSBC for approximately 440 million euros. The historic property, once known as the Élysée Palace building, is currently being redeveloped and is expected to reopen as Louis Vuitton's first hotel in partnership with LVMH. Then in 2012, Qatar Investment Authority acquired 52 Avenue des Champs-Élysées, the former Virgin Megastore building, for over 500 million euros. The 26,000 square meter Art Deco property now houses major retailers including Galeries Lafayette and Monoprix. Prime rents on the Champs can reach around 20,000 euros per square meter annually, making it one of the most expensive retail corridors in Europe. This is not accidental buying. It is a sovereign strategy. The Qatar Investment Authority, established in 2005, manages assets widely estimated between $450 billion and $600 billion. It was built on revenues from Qatar's vast energy reserves, especially the North Field, the world's largest non-associated natural gas field. Qatar is one of the world's leading exporters of LNG, and those gas revenues have been systematically converted into global hard assets. Behind Qatar Investment Authority stands the ruling Al Thani family, which has governed Qatar since the 19th century. The current emir, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, has led the country since 2013. The family's transformation mirrors Qatar's own, from a pearl-diving economy that struggled through the early 20th century to one of the highest GDP per capita nations on Earth within 2 generations. And Paris is only part of the map. In London, Qatari holdings are valued at over £40 billion, or including ownership of Harrods, a major stake in Heathrow Airport, large portions of Canary Wharf, and significant interests in the Shard. This is long-term positioning in global capitals. France also made it easier. A France-Qatar tax treaty signed in 1990 and revised in 2008 provided favorable conditions for certain Qatari sovereign investments, reducing capital gains and dividend taxation compared to standard foreign investor rates. French officials defended the move as necessary to attract capital. Critics argue that it created an uneven playing field in trophy asset acquisitions. Meanwhile, central Paris has changed. The 8th arrondissement, home to the Champs-Élysées, had nearly 68,000 residents in 1968. By 2022, that number had dropped to around 35,000. Paris overall has lost more than 100,000 residents since 2013. Luxury districts increasingly consist of investment properties, corporate headquarters, and secondary residences rather than full-time families. This isn't a conspiracy, it's capital flow. Gas revenues become sovereign wealth. Sovereign wealth buys landmark real estate. Landmark real estate becomes a permanent influence in Western capitals. No soldiers, no headlines screaming invasion, just ownership documents. Here's a quick question. What does it tell about European countries when most of their famous avenues are owned by royal families of the Middle East?